Hello guys, ghouls and gals, and welcome back to the archives. I'm your host, Nick Nightmare, and today I actually have a very interesting topic for you all. See, about 2 months ago, I made a video going over the subgenre of mascot horror, and within that video, I made it very clear that while I do generally like and enjoy the mascot horror subgenre, it has a lot of issues, and over the years has been oversaturated with games that at best just aren't scary, and at worst are quick churned out cash grabs focused more on making a marketable character than on actually delivering an entertaining product. However, recently I was made aware of a very interesting and really fun mascot horror game that seems to not only have a lot of potential to be very good when it has been fully realized, but also seems to have a lot of passion behind it. That game is called Indigo Park. But what is Indigo Park? Well, without giving too many spoilers, Indigo Park is a new game in the mascot horror subgenre made by the YouTuber uniquegeese, where you are exploring an old childhood favorite amusement park, Indigo Park, led by your friendly, state-of-the-art AI pal, Rambly the Raccoon. Now, from a quick peek at his channel, uniquegeese seems to be quite well versed with modern mascot horror, with uploads on his channel related to FNAF Security Breach, Poppy Playtime, and even Bam Bam. But he seems to have taken the good aspects of these games and revived some of the passion within these games. However, to go more in depth into the amazing game he has made, I am going to have to go into spoiler territory. So if you want to avoid that and just want to get to my final thoughts and review on the game, feel free to skip to this timestamp. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's continue. So Indigo Park starts off with your first encounter with Rambly. He makes it very clear to you that the park has been abandoned for some time, though with seemingly no explanation as to why. Little collectibles around the area, as well as some merch stores left completely stocked, seemingly imply that the park was left suddenly and in a hurry. Rambly leads you to the turnstile of the park before equipping you with your very own Critter Cuff, the Indigo Park patented wristband, which acts as your ticket to the park, as well as a pedometer, heart monitor, and even a mood ring. With this new Critter Cuff, you can now access the park itself, walking through the first tunnel of the park, only for it to collapse right behind you. With your only means of exiting the park blocked off now, there's truly only one way to go, and that's forward. Rambly leads you to the Rambly Railroad, his favorite attraction for no particular reason, other than his love for trains. However, as you round the corners of the queue line, you start to see signs of a strange figure following you. You can continue to see signs of this figure frozen into the screens of the camera at the end of the ride. Something is following you. You are not alone in this park anymore. Continuing on, you find that the Jetstream Junction attraction is locked, with the only key to the building being in the backstage area of the proud, the prestigious, the professional Lloyd the Lion. Rambly's best friend. Clearly. Upon entering the theater, you meet the man, the myth, the legend himself, Lloydford L. Lion, center stage. But something is off. He's not wearing his suit and tie. He's not standing proud. He's acting more like a real beast on the hunt now. As you wind through the tight corners of the clutter in the backstage area, you narrowly avoid Lloyd's attacks coming from behind the boxes strewn about the area. But even narrowly escaping Lloyd, you still aren't safe. The figure once again appears at the end of the hall, proving once again that whoever this is, they're following you, watching. You are now able to continue on to the Jetstream Junction. Rambly tells you to go up the stairs at Molly's landing pad to Molly's rooftop races. However, the area has fallen into disrepair like most of the building, with a good chunk of the building having collapsed on top of the ride. Rambly, dismayed by this observation, suggests you go to the landing pad instead. But if you explore instead, you can find this cute little 8-bit game called Rambly Rush, a small action platformer that concludes with the devious Salem skunk using her new potion to turn Molly against you. Topical, is it not? Anyways, continuing on to the landing pad, you find it is a large kiddie play place with 4 rolling blocks with 1 symbol on each side. Looking at the decor on the walls, one can find that some of the shapes and colors match up with the blocks. However, the only way to find these symbols is to crawl through the play place. and you are not alone here. Molly waits at the end of the tubes you find yourself crawling through, watching you closer than ever now. But she never attacks. By getting too close, she just wanders away, only to disappear into the darkness once again. By crawling through the play place and finding the symbols on the wall, you find that they unlock the door to the rest of the play area, where Molly is waiting for you once again. As Molly takes chase, you're forced to weave through tube slides and bounce across chasms to avoid Molly, as she seemingly appears in every direction you turn. The chase eventually leads you to the backstage area, as Rambly so graciously dubs you a new Wrangler, before you find yourself cornered, with the only door out being locked. Molly slowly approaches and the door shuts. It shuts on Molly, revealing that this is not just a robot, it seems, as blood spills on the door and across the floor. The door behind you unlocks, and Rambly laments of the disrepair the park has fallen into, as he only wanted to show you a fun time. But he states that with your help, you two can fix Indigo Park together. As Rambly leads you to the next area of the park, we get our first glimpse of Finley the sea monster, before the screen fades to black. We are left with Rambly and an amazing original song made for the game's credits. Now that we're through the plot synopsis, what do I think of the game? Well, I think it's really not bad. In general, the characters look believably childish, but with the ability to look menacing. The area is a mostly believable park area, and the motivation for visiting the park is direct and understandable. And while it's not as nuanced or mysterious as Poppy Playtime or FNAF, it is still fun and, better yet, makes sense through its pure simplicity. This park was a theme park that meant a lot to our main character as a kid. Since its abandonment, our character and a friend of theirs have taken up exploring abandoned areas, including the park. Overall, I'd honestly give the game an 8 out of 10. It's not perfect by any means, it is mostly just a walking simulator, but the character designs are fun, Rambly is a very cute character, and the setting is very, very fun. However, let me get into a few complaints that I do have with the game. They're not a lot, and admittedly they're pretty nitpicky, but they are still complaints that I have. The first one is the same aspect that I just previously praised about the game, the motivation. Despite being clear and concise, it is very, very basic and doesn't really leave much room for more interesting storytelling with it. However, again, this is nitpicky. My next issue is the characters themselves, or at least how they are presented towards the end of Chapter 1. This is mostly a personal preference. By learning that Molly Macaw is not an animatronic, but is instead a person in a costume, or a real anthropomorphic bird, it makes the ending of the chapter feel very strange and kind of pulls me, at least, out of the immersion the game tries to establish. It makes it feel less realistic and more outlandish, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but for me it just really doesn't do it in this kind of setting. However, that is where my complaints stop, and I do really enjoy the game. I think it is a pretty good example of what Mascot horror should be. I look forward to seeing what is still in store for the future of Indigo Park, and as I said at the beginning of the video, uniquegeese, a pretty sizable YouTuber, but not one I was aware of before this, seems to be putting a lot of passion into this game, which is the key aspect that Mascot horror genre has been missing as of late. But unfortunately, this is where I must leave you all for now. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to hear anyone else's thoughts on the game, as well as other games you'd be interested in seeing. And as always, I hope to see you all in the archives again soon. Goodbye for now.
Indigo Park, more than my remarks are mysteries. Even I don't know what we might find, but fight through the dark, and I'll be your spark of sunshine to get you out of any bind. Till all my old friends are united again, and I won't feel so left behind. I'll let you go. See you next time, buddy.
please?